Hi everybody, and welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are doing really well today. Okay, well, I took my video down, the one that I did about Lyme and the dangers that are lurking outdoors. I just felt like, I felt like I was kind of whining. I don't want to come off that way, or that I'm complaining about it, because I'm not complaining. I feel like I don't know if I really expressed clearly why I want people to be careful. And if this is something that's not interesting to you, please feel free to change the channel. I totally get it. One thing I really want to mention is that if it's really important to have an area in your home where you can have like a little microclimate, where you can control the temperature and have a fan. I am going to work on a small window unit. I do believe that I can power one with solar. In the process of going about that as cost effective as I can. But I think one of the most important things that I can tell you is that if there were to be a grid go down situation, and a lot of us in the summer are used to having air conditioning or a fan, and if you were to have to open your windows, it's going to be that hot, and not everybody has a screen, and even if you have a screen, no-see-ums and chiggers and all that can get through, and you are going to be so much more exposed to bug bites, than you ever were while you're sleeping. You're not always going to feel them when they bite, and if you were to get sick, or if you were to first get sick with this stuff, to the degree that a lot of people get sick, and the heat and continually being bitten is going to be a nightmare of epic proportion. I can tell you that if I had been living in a situation that had not been climate controlled, and I was going through the full-blown infection that was fully disseminating in my system neurologically, having the issues that I had, which I mentioned in my last video. I don't know if I'm going to re-upload it or not. I don't know if I would have made it. I really don't know if I would have made it. You've got to think about those type of things. Most people who live in cities, you can get Lyme in the city just as easily you can get it out in the country or a small town. Any type of bug that has sank its teeth, that's not the anatomically correct description, but has had its, has come into contact with, say, a possum or a rat or a deer or a dog or cat that has it, can transmit that to you. And where you don't have air, a fan, or you don't have a room that's somewhat climate controlled, and you have the ability to keep them out, that's going to be good, because you can be reinfected. You can constantly be reinfected. It's not medical advice, by the way. That's just reality. That's truth. By the way, this used to be a very trendy subject when, like, Tommy Hilfiger and all the rich elite up in New York had the Lyme galas, the big Lyme galas. And so at one time, this was an illness that received some attention when the celebrities and the rich and famous got sick with it. So, I don't know what's really happened with that. The limelight, it's definitely out of the limelight. And there's, something else that's taking up 110% of everyone's mind. And I just can't listen to it anymore. Because what about the rest of us, all of us, who are suffering with one type of illness or another? What about the rest of us that have other battles, and you can't get to it because the system is so congested right now, and it's a different system. I really don't want any part of it. I've just, canceled recently something having to do with, a heart condition. I canceled that. I canceled, canceling another appointment with the system, because every time I go and try to take any kind of step forward, I get met with a closed door, a door slamming shut in my face, or just a general overall lack of concern. And that's just, folks, I think that's the era that we're living in. And really, it's no different than when, I first got sick with this. At the time in the state of Texas, a lot of doctors were losing their medical licenses that were treating patients with long-term antibiotic therapy. That was considered illegal, and they got run out of the state. You can go online and look up Lyme literate medical doctors. And when you're really ill, you don't feel like traveling out of state. You're probably not going to have the means. Probably you're going to have run through all your cash and lost your job. And you are not going to have you're just not going to be able to make it. You're just not going to be able to make it. So, I guess I just really want to encourage you to be sure that you are aware that, like I saw a channel I see a lot of survival channels where people, big time channels where they just take off and go hiking in the woods in shorts and hiking boots and muscle shirt. And I'm like, okay, I know, maybe I would have done that. Maybe I would have done that. I don't know. I know now I wouldn't do that, because the information just really isn't out there on a large scale. Like I said, I just don't believe it's truly out there. And apparently it's a politically incorrect illness to have. And I really feel like the powers that be that are running the show could actually be a lot more wealthier if they did take an interest in it. But there are a lot of different things. There's babesiosis, ehrlichiosis, anaplasma, B. microti, many different strains of Lyme. There's not just one. There's tons of them. Some of them don't have names yet. But the more you expose yourself and don't take any precaution, is risking yourself and taking a large risk. And you may not feel it right away, and you might start having different things happen in your body, and you're wondering what it is, and you can't ever find an answer. And then you go to take a test, and the testing is very conservative, and so most of the time you're going to get a negative result. And that further frustrates people, because they know that they probably have it and they can't get the validation that they need. So that's why I mentioned in Palo Alto there is a lab called IGeneX, and it's really gotten expensive. There is a whole blood serum test that you can get. It's pricey if you're concerned that you have it, but I just want to warn people, I'm just not hearing anybody talk about protecting themselves against that particular element. And if we do lose power, and if not, if, a lot of us, gardening is going to be out of the question for those of us that have it for the most part. You're really supposed to limit your outdoor exposure. And if the whole SHTF thing happens, well, some of us are going to be goners. That's just probably the reality of that. I don't think that's going to happen, because they don't want to lose control of us. So, I don't know. Really, at this point, I'm losing my care about whether it happens or not. I do want to be prepared, though, for rolling blackouts and conditions that can make it difficult for the elderly and children and people that are ill. So, it's up to you, basically, how you want to protect yourself from it. For me, it's, staying really covered. But I do want to show you some video of what it looks like and how sophisticated it is. And it's very smart. It's so intelligent. And I found a video of the biofilm that's impenetrable. I know I've mentioned that before. So, anyway, I hope that, me warning you can help you make a decision about precautions that you should take. Precautions that you should just take about being outdoors a lot, especially if you haven't spent a lot of time outdoors and all of a sudden you're going outside and, you're not dressed with that in mind. I just went to take out the trash and I had some flip-flops on just to go take out the trash. And by the time I came in, I had 6 stinging ants on my foot. And I really never stopped moving. That's how aggressive they are. That's just how aggressive they are. So, think about it. If you don't, just think about it. And I hope that you will protect yourself. And I'm still debating on whether I want to start another channel dealing with Lyme. You're not going to hear publicly about how it claims a person's life, or just the many different ways that it changes a person's life, typically, because a lot of people don't know about it, or they hear about it and it happens to other people. I have spoken to people in organizations. I spoke to a man up in Canada who's the head of an organization up in Canada, and he said that our government was doing absolutely nothing, and that he said it was shameful. And I think that's probably true. It's probably true, because the truth of the matter is that you can't look to them to help. You can't really look to anybody else to tell you how to protect yourself and what's out there. I think if they really did care, each summer they would let us know, to be careful for this and be careful for that, and it would be taught. But I do think the awareness is probably better than it was when I first got it. But it is an ongoing battle, and it's one that I hope you don't ever have to go through. So anyway, I'm repeating myself. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get some video to show you what this little creature looks like. And if you can imagine having a lot of those in your system, you would know. You would know that something else was in charge of your body, even though Jesus is at the helm and he's my Lord and my Savior. And I will be here as long as he wants me to be here. So, and that's just the way it goes for every one of us, I believe. So, okay, everyone. Well, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Love y'all. Bye-bye.